Praise be the Omnissiah, and welcome to today's video where we take a look at the Myrmidon Destructor Host, as the new models have been announced, the plastic kit for the Myrmidon Destructor Host, and while we await the box to be released, I thought we might have a quick gander and a little bit of a discussion about the unit itself. Now, I believe that the new kit that's coming out only makes the Destructor Host. It doesn't make the Secutor Host, so we probably will still have to wait quite some time for the Secutor Host to be released in plastic, as I was reading through the article on the Warhammer community, and I might have missed it, but I believe I did know. It was not mentioned that Secutor Host can be made with the same kit. Now, their stat lines are identical. The main thing where they differ is their special rules and the wargear. So I believe GW will split them into two separate boxes so they can charge you more and you cannot magnetize your options as easily, right? But anyway, Myrmidon Secutor Host, unit composition: 1 Destructor Lord and 2 Destructors. You get 3 models for 150 points. Quite expensive. For the same price, you can get 6 Ursarax from the Ursarax cohort, who are faster, have 1 less strength, have 2 less wounds, same amount of attacks. Well, 1 attack less because the Destructor Lord has 1 extra attack. Same weapon skill except the Destructor Lord again. So it depends how you build your list, pretty much. But I myself have found a good use with the Ursarax cohort. I have not tried the Destructor Host as I am not too keen on getting the resin kits. And half of the GW stock is constantly out of stock. So while the plastic kits gets released, I will probably nab a box or 2, and then I'll have more experience with them. But please, if you have played this unit in 3rd edition or even 2nd edition, please let me know what their role is on the tabletop and how do they perform in your list and in your games. Now, much like their Secutor brethren, the Myrmidon Destructors view combat as a method by which they might divine the will of the Omnissiah. However, they do so through the thunder of heavy guns, the blast of plasma, and searing pulse of red flame. For these towering ancients, each salvo is a prayer and each battle won a humble offering to the Omnissiah. Such is the power of their onslaught that the Magos militant of a forged world will go to great lengths to seek out and recruit such warriors when conflict looms and the horns of war sound. Pretty metal description, but they are literally metal, so, you know, it is what it is. Now, let's look at their stats. Movement of 6, which is standard. Weapon skill of 4, the Lord has weapon skill of 5, which makes him a little bit better in challenges, as he is a champion keyword. Ballistic skill of 4, Lord again 5. Strength 5, which is a nice breakpoint against T4 bodies. Toughness 5, which is again a nice breakpoint against chainswords mostly, or any strength 4 and less weaponry. Wounds 4, which is actually makes them pretty tanky, considering, for example, Ursarax have 2 wounds each, and I found them to be quite survivable. Initiative 2, which is a downside. That will mean that most of the times the enemy will strike first. Most of the times. Especially if the enemy has any power weapons, that the initiative might not really matter too much, because they'll be dropping down to your level sometimes. 2 attacks and Lord 3 attacks, making that a 7 attacks on a 3-man unit. Not bad. Just looking at the flat stat line, it seems to be quite good. Leadership, cool, willpower and intelligence, 9, 9, 8, 8 respectively. Save 3 up and invul 5 up, which is nice to have. 5 up invul with T5 and 4 wounds. That is a respectable defensive profile, especially with weapon skill of 4 and 5. Now, let's have a look at their wargear. What do they come with? These lads, let's call them lads, come with shock chargers. What is a shock charger? It's initiative -1, so you're dropping to initiative 1, which is not ideal. Attacks modifying 0, so they're 2 and 3. Strength modifier +2, which gives them strength 7. Which is... it's good, but the strength 5 is already, I find, enough. If you run into any Terminators that have T5, their toughness 5, then yes, the +2 strength will matter. But it's only AP 4, but it's damage 2. So It's not a bad weapon, but the -1 modifier will mean that 99% of the time you will be swinging last. They also come with Volkite culverins, who are range 45, which is quite long. Firepower 3, so 3 shots per guy. Round strength 6, which is a nice point as well. But it's only AP 5, which is a massive issue of this weapon, and damage 1, which is, you know, standard. It's heavy, firepower round, and the flag rate 6. Now, we have went over these rules multiple times, so there will be a pop-up that will show up on your screens. What does heavy FP and the flag rate 6 mean? So you can stop the video and have a quick look. Now, all of these pop-ups have been taken directly from New Recruit, so I'm pretty sure they are quite accurate. But look at Corvin with that range is with that amount of shots. It can remove a couple of Marines here and there, especially we're talking about power armor 3-up Marines, right? Now, they also have frag grenades, which, you know, is what it's only range 6, 1 shot, round strength 3. But the thing is, they can be used during the volley step, which is nice. So, you know, it's nothing big to write about. Allegiance, you can pick again, Loyalist or Heretic. Traits, Myrmidax, which I will also have the pop-up for Myrmidax and for the Gambit they get on the screen, so you can have a look at it if you want. They have 3 options they can pick from, and in the article it has been confirmed, if I'm not mistaken, I'll have a quick look again, that they come in the new kit with all 3 weapons, I think. Let me have a look. So they come in with Darkfire Cannons, Irradiation Engines, okay, and that's it. So I think the Conversion Beamer might have been taken out from the new kit, or they just haven't mentioned it in their wargear options. We will need to wait and see when the new box comes out, if they lose the option or if it's just simply not in a box. Now, we're gonna have a look at their options for the weapons. The engine, Irradiation Engine, 15 points per model, so making them even more expensive than they already are. But what does it do? It's a template weapon, which is nice. It's strength 4, which, you know, it's against T4 Marines, which you will mostly run into. It's not bad. AP 5 is an issue, damage 1. But it has heavy AP, which I don't think it makes too much of a difference because it's AP 5. If it was AP 4 base, I feel like that would make this weapon more reliable at the wounding T3 armor, right? T3 Marine, sorry. It has Phage T, which reduces the toughness of the unit by 1, which is actually pretty good, especially if you have shock charges bringing you up to strength 7. That means you're wounding T4, now T3 Marines on 2s. So, could be worth looking at, considering it's a template, so you have to be close. So you'll fire and then if you get the charge off, then, you know, or charge next or whatever. It might be a worth thing to look at. Or charge with a different unit. Then we have Poison 2+. That's actually very nice. So you wound on a 2+, regardless of the toughness characteristic of the enemy model. 2+ Poison is pretty nasty. And it has a Panic 1, which has a chance to rout the enemy model, or the enemy unit. So, you know, Mechanicum is very good at having a lot of weapons that can force leadership checks from the enemy. And the statuses can stack quite quickly. So while we are not the most killable, we don't have the most killable, killy units in our army, we are great at inflating various statuses to the enemy and debuffing them in that way, making our units better, indirectly. That's 15 points. Then we have a Darkfire Cannon, which I've been a big fan of, and it's been doing some heavy lifting for me. 36-inch range, 2 shots, strength 8, which is very nice. AP 2, again, very nice. 1 damage, heavy D, suppressive 2. I feel like my Castellax are better with Darkfire Cannons than the Destructors would be. So I don't know, just looking at their stat line and their profile, I don't know if I would put Darkfire Cannons on them, on the Myrmidons. But, you know, it's an option that you have. If you're lacking a little bit more of a, I want to say, heavy infantry killing power or light vehicle, then Darkfire Cannon is your way to go. Now, Suppressive 2 and Heavy D will show up on the screen as well, so you can have a quick look at what they do. Now, next thing we have is the Conversion Beamer, the one weapon not listed on the new box in the article. It has two profiles, 15 inches to 30, one shot, strength 6, AP 3, damage 2, heavy round strength, blast 3 inches. And within 15 inches, it's 1 less strength and 1 worse AP and 1 worse damage. So there is an optimal range for this weapon where you want it to fire at. Because AP 3 and AP 4 and damage 2 and damage 1, that's a huge difference between the two. And then it has blast 3 inches, which is also very nice. And it has a heavy round strength, bringing it up to either strength 6 from 5 or strength 7 from 6. So I would probably go with the Conversion Beamer or the Irradiation Engine myself. If I had the models, first of all, but if they would end up in my list, I would probably go with the Conversion Beamer or the engine. I would leave Darkfire Cannons for my Castellax. Now, let me just quickly check something here. Yeah, Castellax Maniple, I would probably use it on them instead. But yeah, so that's the unit. Now, the Secutor Host is very similar, except they seem to be... they're being pushed in a different direction, because they start with Power Axes, Twin Maxima Bolters. They have Bulky Tree, they have Vanguard Tree, they have Battle Meditation as well, but they also have Implacable Advance. And that should pop up for you on the screen what it does. Tell me, if you have experience with the Secutor and Destructor Host both, tell me which one do you prefer, because they're both expensive enough for 3 models. They seem very tanky. They have nice wargear options like twin phase plasma fuses, which I run on one of my favorite units, because I have glazed this weapon quite a lot on the Talax cohort. But they also have twin graviton guns. There's a lot of choices that can be made. Like I said, they're both Vanguard, so you want to push them both close to the enemy and get them on the enemy objectives. Bulky Tree makes the transport or whatever awkward. The Implacable Advance is nice to have, but the wargear options is what's slightly confusing me here. I know that there will be some comments about both of the units, because in all my previous videos, people have shared some of their experiences with the units that I've been talking about. So I'm actually quite curious to see which host do you prefer currently, before the new box comes out, because we don't know if the rules might change. Probably not, but seeing how some of the wargear is not listed in the article on the Warhammer community, there might be some changes to the datasheet. So as it stands, which option do you prefer? They both take the same slot in the Force Org. So I feel like you either go full Myrmidax and you take max amount of both units, or you just throw a unit or two maybe just to have something tanky and dangerous. I think I would prefer to have Ursarax, because Ursarax also have Vanguard. They're faster and they shred Marines, which is what I feel like these guys should also do. But I feel like Ursarax are more reliable at that, but I could be completely wrong. So please do let me know, because I'm actually quite curious. I will be grabbing a box or two of the Destructor Host, and I will probably try to get them on the field as soon as I can. Once I finish my Old World project, that is, once the Chaos Marauders box is painted, which I'm nearly speed painting at this point, but I'm getting through it. And after the Old World box, I'm putting together my remaining Talax cohort, and that should be pretty much 2,000 points on the nose. So yeah, please let me know, and I'll see you next one. Go on.